Chris Brockman, you mentioned a couple of days ago a report from Ben Volin of the Boston Globe that Bill Belichick's friends are privately voicing concern that Belichick may be on the hot seat this year. And you've been talking about this for a while. That
I think
Belichick
I started
might be in the hot
Did
seat.
I start the hot seat
sure.
talk?
We'll just give you that.
Thank you.
And then when DeAndre Hopkins has chosen the Titans and the Patriots were in that mix too, when that happened, it was time to call up the signal. The Cape Crusader of NBC Sports Boston, Tom Curran, back here in the Rich Eisen Show. How are you doing, Tom?
Tremendous. How are you?
I'm doing great. I am doing great.
You know how humbling it is? I got to tell you this real quick. It's
Yes, sir.
so humbling when I hear your list of guests and then you're coming to me.
Hey, brother.
I mean, Timothy Oliphant.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, geez.
He's a good...
I've watched Deadwood front to back 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Me too, Tom. And it's as great a TV show as any. I do love it, and I'm going to ask him about it when he comes in and, on hour number 3. It's going to be great. So I will send that clip to you later on today, Tom. It's right up your alley.
Thanks, buddy.
Right up your alley. Let's jump into this here. I'll ask it with a Patriots lens. Why did Hopkins choose the Titans over the Patriots, do you think, Tom?
Feels like the dough. Feels like the Patriots kind of drew a line in the sand on how much they were willing to spend on DeAndre Hopkins. And because that $15 million, 12 with incentives to bring him to 15, given by Tennessee is not exorbitant. And it's head-scratching to me relative to the Patriots, who just came off of a 2-year, $22 million deal for Nelson Aguilar, who wasn't nearly 50% the player DeAndre Hopkins was when he came in, and he wasn't even 20% of the player DeAndre Hopkins was in the 2 years he was here. Patriots spend $8, $9, $10 million annually on special teamers in a league that's trying to push away from them. Patriots have more cap space, Rich, than anybody else in the league next year by about $60 million. And they have a ton right now. They had room to do it. And I just don't understand why in a highly leveraged season they didn't say, let's just go in on this guy. We need him.
Is it something other than money then? Was it definitely not apples to apples? Do you know, first blush here, if the Patriots just were not as competitive on the money front as Tennessee?
My feeling is it's certainly that's the case. There were reservations voiced to me from folks, within the building of okay, how's the culture fit going to be? Not in the way of, and this is important if this gets clipped, not in the way of he's a bad guy,
right.
Not in the way of he's going to be an irritant, but more of he doesn't like to practice. He's not on all the details. He's not the most precise player. And that happens a lot with whether it's Darrelle Revis, who I should not say didn't like to practice, but you bring a player in who's so thoroughly established elsewhere and say, okay, you're going to hew to the rules and regulations we have here, and they might be like, yeah, I don't do it that way. So there was concern about that. Maybe the Patriots didn't want to go that far, but he had a 2-day visit with them. He's got the familiarity. I'm not saying that he would have been a panacea to all the things that ailed him, but you're going to look at Mac Jones at the end of the year and make an evaluation as you head into the 4th year and decide whether or not he's going to be your quarterback to 2030, or you're going to say so long after 2024.
What about this setup in New England that might not have, I guess, vibed with Hopkins? Obviously, Bill O'Brien is his former head coach and the one who sent him to Arizona to begin with, and now he's the OC there. Was that all copacetic based on from what you were hearing and understanding, Tom?
Yes, 100%. Based on what I'm hearing and understanding, 100%. That was buried. Now, was that lip service paid over the course of time? And those are other reports that Greg Bedard from Boston Sports Journal had mentioned, as well as indications that O'Brien, I think, has given too, that it was dead and buried. He wouldn't have taken a 2-day visit here if he wasn't the least bit. I mean, that's a lot if you want to prime the pump for a bigger payday someplace else to spend 2 days in Boston in late June. So he did so. So I would imagine everything was copacetic.
Well, our friend Breer's saying that Hopkins was texting with Vrabel during his Patriots visit. Did you see that one, Tom?
I didn't, but I fully trust Albert. I mean, if you're at one car dealership bidding on a similar car across the street, and you go, "Hey, these people are giving me a deal on the floor mats. Can you guys do that?" You're going to do it.
The True Coat. He wanted the True Coat kicked in. Is that what you're saying? You wanted a little. Okay.
That's a little Fargo for you, right there.
That's it, right? That's it. You got my reference.
We're taking a fine.
That's right. That's right. Little Fargo for you right there. Again, you can see I'm just hunting and pecking because maybe also he, figured he's going to be the man in Tennessee and then part of the Patriot way. And I don't know, did Devontae Parker also say something that caused Hopkins essentially to tweet, hey, I'm a value add to any room, hey, my message to all receivers that might be on a team that I'm looking at, I'm a value add. I'm not taking away food off your table, essentially, right? Did something happen there?
I think when we look at the landscape of why is DeAndre Hopkins today going to be a Titan and not a Patriot, I think it might have more to do with the Titans and Hopkins, maybe more to do with the Titans. When you lose A.J. Brown, I looked at this yesterday just to see how bad their offense was. They only scored in the final 12 games, Tennessee, more than 20 points 2 times. They scored 22 and 27. The 27 was their season high. They were pretty pathetic on offense. I don't even know how many defensive or return touchdowns were involved in some of those games, but they were pathetic. And you can absolutely trace it to the absence of A.J. Brown. And you saw Mike Vrabel video after A.J. Brown was traded, the news from that draft night where he kind of got up and looked a little disgusted.
Oh, yeah.
So I would imagine Vrabel sitting there after a 7-10 season saying, I know what went wrong. This is the only way available to us to try and rectify it. Let's do it. So I think that Tennessee was more motivated. As far as the Patriots and Devontae Parker, the Patriots should be able to, with a straight face, walk into training camp and say, if these guys play all at the potential level that they should, Parker, Bourne, Tyquan Thornton as a second-year player, Juju, Hunter Henry, Gesicki, Ramondre Stevenson, they should be an offense that should be able to figure its way to 24 points a week. So I get it.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. The Titans needed Hopkins more than the Patriots did. That's for sure. I saw that Vrabel was, until Hopkins agreed to terms, the Titan with the most career touchdown receptions in that building. That's the truth. He was leading his own damn receiver room with his career, thanks to all those times that Brady targeted him. So they needed him. I understand that. What about the Patriots needing one piece of shiny material added in this late stage because the AFC East is so damn deep right now? What about that sense with Dalvin Cook sitting out there right now, Tom?
My greater concerns for the Patriots right now are Trent Brown, their left tackle, who did not perform well last year, showed up late to the mandatory minicamp, was only able to make it through one drill, which looked like a conditioning issue, and adjourned to the lower practice field. What shape is he going to come back in a week and a half? A week, really. What shape will he come back in? And can he protect Mac Jones? Because if he can't, and the rest of that line is okay, not great, okay, then you're going to have another season of kind of just treading water, unless Bill O'Brien can get this team to where it was with Brady and McDaniels, where the ball's coming out so fast nobody can be bothered. Mac Jones can do that. He's just got the worst separating group of receivers in the National Football League. These guys create zero separation. Devontae Parker has been last in the league in separation for the past 3 years, like 146 out of 146. And if that's your quote-unquote one, that's an issue for a young quarterback.
So how has Mac Jones seemed to you? Any different? What do you got?
Yeah, I think that he's willing to, which I'm not sure Bill has been, but I think Mac is willing to acknowledge that, look, I let my emotions get the better of me after holding them in check for a long time. I'm going to be a better leader this year. I think he's got great leadership skills, but he's also got a little bit of the tennis brat in him, which Brady did too. But it's different. I don't want to compare him to Brady all the time, but he can be a little bit more on his own when he's pissed off.
Yeah, but Brady never had as his Sherpa two guys who'd never done it before in some weird power structure. Like honestly, I mean,
you're so right.
So
people are like, go ahead. Sorry, Rich.
No, it's that's the ultimate question here, and that's what I think has placed Belichick in the conversation. Oddly enough, I'm stunned by it as needing to win this year to avoid a hot seat scenario in New England. It's basically last year and what happened with Mac Jones and that offense can be placed in the bucket of the weird Matt Patricia, Joe Judge gambit that clearly didn't work and everybody thought wasn't going to work and was pointing out while it was being formed, this isn't looking too great. So, yeah, maybe that's why Mac Jones's tennis brat came out a little bit more than expected.
100%. 100%. I mean, everyone knew in training camp, Mac Jones included, that it was head-scratchingly difficult to understand what the aim was. I mean, they were a train wreck in training camp, practice after practice. 0 games or like defensive players walking through the line unblocked and just raising their hand to say, you guys forgot me, instead of finishing off. It's just tackling the quarterback. It was just bizarre. And I thought it would get better, and there were moments when it did. There was a period of time when they were fairly effective. But as the rest of the league improved offensively and defensively, they just got raced past. And, you talk about avoiding the hot seat. Rich, he's on the hot seat, and he's been there at different levels of warmth since 2019.
Really?
And let me look at it this way. In 2019, Tom Brady wanted a 2-year, $50 million guaranteed contract, just like Drew Brees had. He presumed he was going to get that. In training camp, it still was not forthcoming. He's like, you know what? If I don't get this thing, I'm walking out. It was explained to Belichick that was the case. They got something done. It was not a 2-year guaranteed contract. It was 2 years with a team option. So at that point, Brady, as we all know, said, okay, party's over. I'm leaving at the end of the year. And he had dalliances with Miami and everything else. So as that progressed and the team gets to 8-0 in that season, Brady's pissed. Kraft is looking at it as, okay, well, if we're moving on from this guy, I hope we have a good plan. Brady leaves. Belichick somehow convinces Kraft that not spending that money on Tom Brady was a great idea. He wins the Super Bowl. The Patriots, under Cam Newton, because they don't have a plan, were a train wreck offensively. They have a good 2021. They bounced back tremendously with McDaniels doing a great job of orchestrating things with Jones. McDaniels leaves, again, no plan for replacement. All those guys they spent $172 million on in guaranteed money in 2022 are so bad, and the decision to have Patricia and Judge running the offense caused it a massive regression and dysfunction. They were one of the worst teams in the league, coach-wise, in terms of penalties and situational football, and that just shouldn't happen. So Kraft has pointed out, and I'm babbling here, a number of times, I'm anxious. I want results, and he's not getting them. And I wonder if Belichick had already passed Shula, or was it even within hailing distance of Shula, if we would really have this kind of a hand-wringing, what do you do about Bill conversation? Because it's not just last year. It goes back to the midway point of 2019.
Man. So what does this year need to look like, Tom?
Better. That's all.
I mean, better means what? Of all the years,
it could be record.
Of all the years for the Jets to get Rodgers, the Dolphins to add Vic Fangio, which is the one ad that I think few people are talking about. With Dalvin Cook might be coming. The Bills are the Bills. Burrow is Burrow. Mahomes is Mahomes. I mean, this is better. What does better look like? They got to make the playoffs and win a game. I mean, I understand better is as a concept, but you could tell. What does it need to?
I have an answer.
Okay.
Kraft has already started walking back the demand for a playoff win you can sense it in him saying, I expect us to be a good team this year, but our schedule is something else. So last year he indicated it's been 3 years since we won a playoff game. I expect to win one now. This year, they didn't come close to doing that. So now you're looking at a situation where you would expect Kraft to ratchet that up. He's kind of walking it back, explaining how difficult the schedule is. But you can't be situationally stupid. You can't have a quarterback who is so disgusted on a regular basis that he's gesturing towards the sidelines in disgust. You can't seem as if you have no clue. You can't be one of the worst teams in the red zone or on third down. All of those things can happen. If you improve and you're in the top 10 and you're losing games where you just get outplayed instead of lateraling over your head with the game, at a better shot, even if the team finishes 8-9. But if they look disorganized, dysfunctional, and the discipline's out the window, then they might say that was a great run. But can you go upstairs and just watch Gerard coach next year?
Is that who it is? That's it? It would be Gerard Mayo? It wouldn't be somebody on a list in the RKK top right-hand drawer in college? He wouldn't go YOLO with Saban? I mean, seriously.
My sense is it's probably Gerard Mayo.
Okay.
Very important to the Kraft. They released a statement at the beginning of the offseason that the team was working towards an extension with him because his contract was up. The team never releases any information about any extensions, much less an assistant coach. So I think it's important to the Krafts and Mayo that it be out there that it's apparent that he is next in line to be a head coach in the NFL in the place that he played. Wow. And I think he's an extension of Bill too, Rich. He's a guy Bill drafted. He's a guy that Bill has helped inspire and fill a vessel as a leader. And I think that maybe Bill would be okay with it, but how close does he get to Shula? Or does he just pass Shula and we don't have to have this, what will be kind of a painful thing to cover?
Well, he's 20 behind Shula. That ain't happening this year. I mean, he's 30. He's 30 wins behind Shula right now. No, he's 19.
Oh,
we're talking about playoffs included.
Yeah.
Okay.
They include the playoffs.
All right. So then they're not getting 19. There's only 17 of them out there this year, unless I guess get to the AFC Championship game. He's not passing Shula this year.
The Super Bowl.
So yeah, undefeated.
Games,
you know what I mean? Like so. Let's just brass tacks it as I send you off onto your Monday, and I appreciate the time here, Tom Curran. So you're saying, as we're sitting here on the day that we have learned, first full business day, that DeAndre Hopkins isn't coming, he's going to Vrabel's Titans, that going into this season, where the Patriots are plan is Bill O'Brien's here, offense is going to be better with some of the weapons that we've added, as well as O'Brien. He's clearly an old hand at this. He knows exactly the way that it worked with Brady, and that red ass that he is will be fine with Mac Jones in the same way, he and Brady meshed. Obviously, Mac Jones isn't Brady, but that's the plan there. And if it doesn't work out to a certain point, Belichick may be coaching his last season in New England with his successor on his staff. That's basically what you're saying going into the season for the Patriots. Is that accurate?
As someone who covers the team as intimately as anyone, I look at Robert Kraft, and knowing Robert Kraft and the Kraft family, there's a point at which the growling and the saber rattling has to amount to something. And he has growled and saber rattled for going on 3 years. He's dissatisfied with the results. He does not dislike Bill. I'm sure he wouldn't want to move on from him, but he's intensely dissatisfied with the results and intensely dissatisfied with what happened last season. So my presumption is, as I sit here, that a man as successful and as urgent as Robert Kraft is going to make a decision on what does it look like if I just continue to bark on the porch? Don't I have to bite little doggy at some point? Little Reservoir Dogs for you.
I got it. Tom, thanks for the call, brother. Let's do this in training camp.
I'm on vacation,
Where are you?
Well, we were in Aruba last week, but we're back now. This is the staycation portion.
Oh, okay. When do you go? When does training camp start? When does work start?
We kick it in the beginning of next week because training camp opens next Wednesday.
Okay.
So once the week begins, it's always We're into it. We're into
All right.
it kind of now.
Fresh back from Aruba. Do you
That's why I had
tan?
no problem.
Do you tan, Tom, or you just burn? You burn or tan?
No, I'll send you my corpse-like picture in a swim shirt.
Okay.
Fell asleep in the pool. My wife took a picture. It looked like all you had to do was put some rosary beads over my hands, and I was done.
So you're if this was a gas gauge, you'd be E and Breer would be F because he's tan right now. He's probably like George Hamilton right now from his Nantucket getaway. So that's basically what we got.
I've never been to Nantucket in my life.
What the hell? Wow! But you've been to Aruba. There's a beautiful island just a hop skip from you. Take a little ferry. Go to New Bedford. Take a ferry.
I know.
Okay. You take care of
One of
yourself.
those things growing up here, you just look at it and go, that's a hoity-toity joint. I ain't going.
Okay.
Hoity-toity.
Okay. Thanks, Tom. Greatly appreciate it.
See you, brother.
That's Tom Curran.
Have a great week, guys.
Right back at you. Tom E. Curran. Always get the scoop from him. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.